Have you had personal dreams that you can share with us where you've been able to apply some of these tenets into your own life to resolve certain issues, certain so-called real world issues?
Hey therapists and fellow lucid dreamers. Can lucid dreaming do something that traditional nightmare therapy simply can't?
Spoiler alert, the short answer is yes. It has many advantages over what we already know with certainty helps nightmares. One of these relates to the increased probability of peak and transcendent experiences, which I'm excited to focus on with you today in this video. But first, what do we know about nightmare treatment?
Imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT, is a well-established, research-supported treatment that helps patients rescript their nightmares using their waking imagination. This process creates new, more positive memory associations with dream imagery, often reducing nightmares in around 70% of cases. But that's not the same as eliminating them completely, and it doesn't work for everyone. Some patients struggle to engage, and others experience limited or no results. That's why we need additional approaches like lucid dreaming therapy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't lucid dreaming too difficult to learn? Maybe for some, but decades of research show that two key psychophysiological traits are strongly linked to inducing lucid dreams. That is, lucid dreams tend to occur alongside more intense REM sleep activity and in those with higher levels of dream recall. And guess what? These same features are commonly seen in individuals with PTSD, depression, and nightmare disorder. This means that a sizable portion of your patients will already have the traits that make lucid dreaming relatively easy to access with minimal training. So why consider lucid dreaming therapy? What makes it unique beyond the overlapping features it has with imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT? This is a much bigger conversation that I can fully explore here, and I'll be covering it in depth in my upcoming Foundations of Lucid Dreaming Therapy training series. If you're a therapist, you'll find the link to that in the description. I'll touch on a few key advantages that lucid dreaming therapy offers over traditional nightmare therapy. It's unfortunate that most of the world tends to emphasize that lucid dreams mean you can control your dreams. There are limitations to reducing the power of lucidity to the idea of control and dominion. And if you pay closer attention to it, you'll notice that the operational definitions of lucid dream control in the literature tend to be vague or at best inconsistent across studies. If you'd like to hear more about why I think emphasizing controlling your dreams is a limiting lens on lucid dreaming, make sure you leave me a comment to let me know. But for now, think of likening lucidity to dream control as a heuristic. It's an approximation of something that lucid dreaming offers, but it's too reductionistic. I'd like to challenge you as a clinician to think more critically and with more nuance about the core benefits of lucid dreaming and lucid dreaming therapy. Instead, consider that the most fundamental function of lucid dreaming is that it increases access to memory. By remembering your dreaming, you experience a major shift in perspective, opening the door to new possibilities and experiences that can be advantageous in a myriad of ways. One of the key benefits that emerges from remembering your dreaming is something called psychological flexibility. This means you have less rigidity in your thinking, emotions, decision-making, and actions. We become less rigid and restricted in our beliefs about what's possible because remembering your dreaming unlocks certain schemas. What's a schema? A cognitive schema is a set of beliefs, expectations, and memory associations that you have about how something operates, such as the lucid dream world. A key schema is the built-in safety in the lucid dream state. Remembering your dreaming means remembering there are no real-world consequences to your actions. This removes the survival-based, physical, and social constraints that typically govern our choices and behaviors and experiences. It allows you to drop inhibitions and engage fearlessly with your inner world. A second schema involves how the dreamscape, especially in lucid dreams, has an inherent malleability. Unlike waking life, where external sensory input stabilizes our perception, dreams lack a fixed material environment. This means that the dream world is highly responsive to thoughts, memories, intentions, emotions, which can spontaneously manifest as dream imagery. When you recognize the unreality of a dream, you recognize you have more choices available to you and that your dream content is suggestible. This gives freer access to experiences that are relevant to a patient's problems. This allows for more intentional engagement with the dreams unfolding by remembering pre-sleep intentions and mental models for engaging productively with your lucid dreaming content. While this does not mean forcing control, it does provide greater creative influence over the experience compared to non-lucid dreaming. Another favorable feature is lucid dreaming's ability to facilitate new learning through direct experience. Experiences that are more immersive than imagination or retrospective dream recall, and therefore more emotionally or psychologically evocative. That means it facilitates new learning while you are fully immersed in the visceral experience of the dreamscape. And unlike in non-lucid dreams or one's waking imagination, this all occurs while you are metaconscious of the experience in real time. This sort of direct experiential learning is also complemented and accentuated by the element of surprise and unexpected responses of the dream to your lucid mindset. This means that there's a higher probability of spontaneous emergence of unconscious imagery in lucid dreams that tends to go beyond what can be achieved through waking imagination and sometimes even through non-lucid dreams. The dream will respond in ways that are surprising, unexpected. It's not something that you are controlling. Relatedly, lucid dreams increase the probability of experiencing peak and transcendent states, or what some might liken to mystical or higher spiritual states. A peak experience, first described famously by the psychologist Abraham Maslow, is a state in which you sense great joy, wonder, awe, even euphoria. You may have a sense of an oceanic feeling, limitless horizons, and it's a state in which you tend to understand that something profoundly important is happening to you. Peak and transcendent experiences are known to enhance psychological flexibility and facilitate new learning due to the deeper personal meaning these experiences have to the dreamer. These states are more probable in lucid dreams compared to waking states and non-lucid dreams. This is one of the most overlooked benefits of lucid dreaming. It's one that doesn't really get talked about a lot. And it's also one of the hardest to replicate using traditional therapy or using waking rehearsal because our imaginations have limits. Before diving further, I should mention that the event of becoming lucid is a type of peak or transcendent experience in itself. Becoming lucid means transcending your ordinary, limited view of reality with a radically different perspective. It can come with those feelings of great joy, wonder, awe, excitement. So it's not unheard of to consider the mere event of becoming lucid as a form of a peak experience in itself. However, the depth and intensity of peak experiences in lucid dreams often extend far beyond this initial shift in awareness. This can include states of non-dual awareness or ego dissolution, where the boundaries between subject and object dissolve. Out-of-body experiences become more common, along with profound states of ecstasy, bliss. Some lucid dreamers even report encounters with mythical beings or entities. The spectrum of these experiences is incredibly vast. But first, let's talk about why lucid dreams tend to increase the probability of these states. While there is evidence to support this, we still don't fully understand why. You might wonder if it has to do with the sensory isolation of dreams, which cuts off most sensory signals from the material world. You might think of this as similar to like sensory deprivation tanks, which enhance internal imagery, emotional processing, and deeply personal visions, making more room for higher spiritual states by shutting out the outside world. But the issue is sensory isolation, it's also more present in non-lucid dreams. So it doesn't explain why these experiences tend to be more probable when you're lucid. The heightened probability likely has something to do with the neural and perceptual alterations specific to the lucid state, but a lot more research is needed to clarify these mechanisms. I believe that drawing parallels with psychedelic-induced states could be a useful lens on why lucid dreams portend more peak experiences, and I believe these two fields have a lot to learn from each other. While psychedelic research is further ahead than lucid dreaming research, likely because psychedelics are easier to study in lab environments, and lucid dreams are clearly different from psychedelics. They both share some interesting overlap. From an experiential standpoint, lucid dreams and psychedelics share several key features.
both alter reality testing, for example. Both of these states involve knowing the experience isn't real at the time, whether it's recognizing your perceptions as a dream or as a psychedelic effect. In other words, both prompt active reflection on what is real and what is not. Both of these states radically alter perception, disrupt our sensory processing, and in the meantime, they facilitate more conscious and intentional access to subconscious material. Psychedelics are known to allow personally significant emotions, memories, symbolic visions to surface. Non-lucid dreams also bring subconscious material to the forefront, but lucidity introduces a crucial difference. It allows for conscious, intentional engagement with this content in real time. This capacity is something that neither waking self-reflection nor ordinary non-lucid dreaming can fully replicate. Both states also have a tendency to radically alter your perspective. This can disrupt rigidities in your thinking and help loosen entrenched thought patterns that keep you stuck, often revealing insights that may not have been as accessible in ordinary consciousness. And of course, both of these states increase that probability of peak and mystical experiences. While these states are possible to access across many states, waking, dreaming, lucid dreams, states of great stress, meditation, and more, they do tend to be more accessible in the psychedelic and lucid dreaming states. And lastly, both of these states require integration for lasting impact. Psychedelic therapy, lucid dreaming therapy, these both benefit from post-experience integration, reflecting on the experience and translating insights into your daily life. A trained guide, such as a therapist, can also enhance the meaning and application of these experiences. It's key to note that these transcendent experiences can't necessarily be planned, controlled, or forced to happen. They tend to emerge involuntarily. This is something that can't be scripted, forced, or anticipated easily. They're not willing it to happen. It just happens. But all this jargon is very cerebral, isn't it? I should share some of my personal experiences in lucid dreams to demonstrate some of these concepts. Personally, I do rescript my dreams. I rescript my nightmares all the time. Just like in IRT, I rescript them as is, but sometimes I also incorporate how the dream would change if I were lucid. It's a useful tool. It can reduce distress or shift the narrative, but in my experience, it doesn't always stop my recurring nightmares from coming back. For me, the most persistent and distressing nightmares often don't fully resolve until I become lucid within the dream. That's where I can consciously engage with the experience using a self-integration model. There's something about the immersive nature of lucidity that allows for unexpected and often profoundly meaningful imagery to emerge. Visions of emotional resolution that I couldn't have fully consciously imagined in my ordinary waking state. I've witnessed the same phenomenon in my clinical practice, as well as heard it from other seasoned lucid dreamers, where spontaneous insights that arise in lucid dreams just don't compare. And that brings me to the personal experience I wanted to share with you today. This is a lucid dream where I sought self-integration that ended a recurring nightmare series about a real-world emotional struggle I was experiencing. I'm sharing it to demonstrate how these types of lucid dreams not only can end recurring nightmares immediately, right after you have the lucid dream, but also how these types of lucid dreams can be coupled with powerful, spontaneous, unexpected elements that I would certainly liken to peak experiences sometimes. This is the type of healing that I just would never be able to access through my ordinary abilities. So, without further ado, let's dive into this clip from a podcast with Andrew Holisek during his Edge of Mind podcast associated with his nightclub community.
Have you had personal dreams that you can share with us where you've been able to apply some of these tenets into your own life to resolve certain issues, certain so-called real-world issues
Yeah, well, maybe more emotional one. I kept having a dream about somebody that I had a difficult relationship with, and I felt hurt and mistreated, and they kept popping up in my dreams, and I wanted to move on. And so I set my mind to, okay, next time I see that person, I'm going to know I'm dreaming, and I'm going to try to work on this and let go of whatever it is I'm holding on to. Sure enough, the next time it happened, when I saw him, I immediately knew it was a dream. I ran right up to him. And this is totally different from my non-lucid dreams where I'm trying to like run away or hide or not be seen, you know? And I grabbed his hand and I looked him right in the eyes. And it was a moment where you have to look deep within yourself and speak from the heart. And that was what I did. I directly asked the dream, how can I integrate this? How can I let this go? I tried to express forgiveness of myself and him. He disappeared in my hands as I was talking. I began to float up in the air and I started pulsating with this buzzing, ecstatic energy. It felt like ecstasy. It was so euphoric. It was amazing. So I'm somersaulting slowly toward the ceiling and I'm just watching myself in this state, trying not to break the trance. I get to the ceiling and I'm hanging upside down by the ceiling, just sort of effervescing in this energy. It was wonderful. And I was hanging there and I saw an image of a bat in my mind's eye. It's almost like a bat signal from the Batman movies. So at the time I thought, that's weird. Why am I seeing a bat right now? And then when I woke up, I realized I was hanging upside down from the ceiling like a bat myself, which is really interesting to think about the significance there. After that dream, I stopped having those, you could call them nightmares. I was distressed by them, but it stopped. And it was something that definitely felt healing and integrative in a way. And it was one of those dreams that tends to stick with you. You'll always remember it. And it's something that helps me or guides me when I'm looking for integration or healing. It's something that I can always pull from and remember to help me have more of those experiences.
So, Kristen, when you do this, I'm curious how you incubate these types of dreams. I mean, do they come to you somewhat serendipitously, or do you make official incubation strategies, or are there ways that you can cultivate this so that you can work with it more directly?
Yeah, the one I'm talking about there, and often the ones that I do have more of these integrative experiences, they tend to have a recurring quality. So I keep having the same bad dream over and over. So I know I can expect to have that in the future. So I know I'm going to have that dream. But how am I incubating an intention to become lucid and have this self-integrative experience? That's easily done through mild strategies. So identifying the dream sign and setting your mind, okay, next time I see that dream sign or that person or that thing, or I'm in that place, I'm going to remember I'm dreaming. And you can rehearse setting those intentions in a number of different ways. You could say it in words to yourself. You could write down rescripted versions of your dreams as if you got lucid in your dream journal. You can rehearse it in your imagination before you go to sleep. There's different ways that you can optimize your mindset so that the next time it happens, you become lucid. Those are actually some of the dreams that I tend to have a lot of success with because you can expect them. You're going to have that dream sign again.
Yeah, that's one of the great gifts of having recurrent dreams. And parenthetically, Tenzin Wangyal.
I wanted to share this clip because it highlights key aspects of lucid dreaming therapy for nightmares that aren't discussed enough, including its unique advantages beyond traditional nightmare therapies, and especially how applying lucid dreaming constructively can increase the likelihood of peak state experiences that are not planned, scripted, or controlled by the dreamer. It's part of why I emphasize so much that the power of lucid dreaming is creativity, not controlling your dreams. What this clip doesn't fully capture, though, is the lasting impact this dream had on me. The spontaneous imagery, the personal significance of this dream, it's continued to evolve and weave into my ongoing dreams and waking experiences over the years. And this goes far beyond anything I could have imagined, planned, or scripted myself. So let's summarize some key takeaways on why lucid dreaming therapy for nightmares stands out. Lucid dreaming catalyzes psychological flexibility and perspective shifting. It's the ultimate perspective shifter. Healing, learning, and growing require a shift in perspective. Lucid dreaming provides a space to practice seeing reality from a radically different vantage point, loosening habitual narratives that keep us stuck. This is not about controlling your reality. It's about enhancing your creativity, allowing you to transcend suffering and enrich your life. Another takeaway is that lucid dreams facilitate direct experiences of transformation. Unlike talk therapy, retrospective dream recall, imagined rescripting, lucid dreaming facilitates immersive, direct experiences within the most creative space for processing emotions and memories. That is the REM sleep environment, where emotionally charged and symbolically rich material emerges spontaneously in response to your lucidity. These experiences often go beyond waking cognition and what non-lucid dreaming alone can generate. Spontaneous imagery, not controlled imagery, is what drives the most powerful experiences. The most meaningful lucid dreams are not controlled or scripted. They emerge naturally in response to the shift in perspective and schemas that come with knowing you're dreaming. These schemas include a sense of safety, the dream's malleability, and the ability to fearlessly align your higher values with your intentions. The value and goal is not forcing control over the dream, but using your lucidity to improvise a healthier engagement with the dream's unfolding dynamics. Lucid dreaming increases the probability of peak and transcendent experiences, particularly when you optimize your mental set for engaging with your dream constructively. It increases the probability of these mystical, deeply symbolic visions, making it a potent tool for shifting rigid narratives and perspectives. What's also important to remember is lucid dreaming therapy is more accessible than most clinicians realize. People with PTSD, nightmare disorder, depression, these individuals often have traits that make lucid dreaming easier to access. That is, higher levels of dream recall and intensified REM sleep. A few induction skills can make this an immediately applicable and powerful therapeutic tool. And last but not least, post-dream integration matters for lasting therapeutic impact. Like other altered states, lucid dreams should be framed and processed afterwards to maximize their psychological benefits. Clinicians who are trained in lucid dreaming therapy can help clients translate these experiences into meaningful growth and healing. While research on lucid dreaming therapy is still early in its development, clinicians are in a unique position to explore its therapeutic applications today. However, few therapists are trained in dream-based therapies, and even fewer know how to integrate lucid dream induction techniques and experiences into evidence-based care. That's why I created the Foundations in Lucid Dreaming Therapy training series. This continuing education program will teach you how to apply lucid dreaming techniques in clinical practice, tools to help clients engage with dream content constructively, and methods to enhance psychological flexibility, emotional resilience, and nightmare resolution. This isn't pseudoscience or just a theory. It's a structured, accessible approach with supporting evidence that you can start using right away. Also important to note, this course is supported by a sponsor approved by the American Psychological Association, offering CE credits for licensure while introducing you to an innovative and potent therapeutic tool. The link to enroll is in the description. Hope to see you inside.